All right, so we're on. Hi, just wanted to drop a very quick video and let you know how things are going. As you can tell, I don't have my brace on. I was cleared to start coming out of the brace. I get to put the brace on when I need it. I'm supposed to build up, go 2 hours without it, 4 hours the next day, 6 hours, 8 hours, then work my way up, but I don't have to wear it at night when I go to bed. That is the best news, ever. Trying to think. So today was my 6 week post-op, and everything's looking good, which is great. She wanted to know if I was still doing my physical therapy. I've not done my physical therapy because really I've not had the money. At this point, my last paycheck was March, and it was half of my salary. So I really haven't been paid since March, and at this point, when we get back into the school year, it will be the end of September before I get paid again. So I'm going without money, unfortunately. So I really couldn't afford my therapy, even though I was required to do that twice a week. I can't afford my copay. And I was thinking, if I could afford my copay, I would afford my medication. And I can't afford that either. So I have been 3 weeks without my Dystonia medication and 2 weeks without my blood pressure medication and almost a week without my thyroid medication. And I can really feel that one because my muscles are starting to get really stiff. And they will eventually just lock up and my heart rate will start to slow. So it's not really a good thing, and it's not the greatest in the world. But at this point, I can't afford anything. And I have a doctor's appointment, I think Tuesday. I can't remember which, but I'm not going to be able to go to that one either because I can't afford it. I just can't afford to go. And I was supposed to go. And at this point, she is going to fuss because my blood pressure is going up. My blood sugar is through the roof because I've not been on my medication, and when your thyroid's messed up, it messes up your metabolism, which makes trying to control diabetes even worse. And I've done really good. I've cut out a lot of carbs to try to keep it down, but I still can't get it below 170, and that's not good. And the biggest thing that worried me was the fact that with it up, that was going to prolong my healing. See if I can show you my little scar, and it hurts right there because that's the end of it, but it goes all the way around to about here, and it's okay. I'm thinking it's going to leave a really ugly scar. I started putting vitamin E oil on it. Now that all the glue has come off, I didn't want to put any on there with the glue still on there just because. But started putting that on there, and then really been taking vitamins to try to help, especially some magnesium to kind of keep my blood pressure down, and about the best I can do. I haven't really slept a whole lot lately just because sleeping with a collar, so tonight will be the first time I get to sleep without the collar So that's great. But anyways, someone had commented and wanted an update, like as far as my dystonia. And this is what I'm going to say, and this is going to sound really odd, but been off my medication for 3 weeks. The one thing that I noticed the first week after my surgery was my balance issues. I no longer had I was having balance issues to the point that even walking, I would stumble over my own feet because my legs just wouldn't go. And that's pretty much how I ended up being put on medical leave back in January, was the fact that my legs would just go out from underneath me. And I really didn't relate that to the car accident, because I thought that some of that was probably related to my dystonia. And as it turns out, I'm thinking that maybe a lot of things were wrong. I have not had an episode with my dystonia. And honestly, after the car wreck, my dystonia symptoms went through the roof. And I thought that it was due to the stress, especially the stress of the accident, because even sitting in the car, like I was afraid to get out of the car after the accident. I could feel my face starting to draw. And my hands were starting to clamp up. And so that just really freaked me out. And I was afraid to get out because I was afraid that I would fall. And then I didn't want to do that right there in the middle of the road. So after the accident, I started having more progressively worse dystonia symptoms than I'd ever had. I had only had one full blown dystonia attack, full body, and that was after a really stressful event. And so I just kind of ruled all of that as, okay, it was related. But honestly, I've not had any, and you would think that I would, considering the fact that I've been without money, and then with all this stuff going on, my son lost his job, so like no one has a job in our house right now. So we're like really in dire straits, to the point like we got an eviction notice just last week, and by the grace of God, my son was able to sell his car and get us through. And now we're looking at, okay, what's going to happen in July, because July's coming and still no, he hasn't been able to find a job. So just, you would think that with all the stress that would just kind of make everything go up. But what I can say is, chances are, I probably had some slight stenosis, and with the car wreck, it made everything so much worse. Reading the radiology report for my MRI, where it was, the way that it was described, I had my C5, the disc from C5, C6, everything, it was going in one direction, and then below that C6, C7 was going in the opposite direction. So it's like they were just both going in different directions, and a lot of that was from where my head was put sideways. So the stenosis kind of made everything worse, and it made things, I would say, progressively worse as far as the dystonia, especially since a lot of, from what I was from how it was described to me by the neurologist who told me that I had dystonia. He stated that I had very hypersensitive nerves. And when I sat down and spoke to my orthopedic neurosurgeon who did my surgery for my fusion in my neck, he stated that it wasn't what he would call like a life-threatening. But he did say that some people are very sensitive, which I am. I have that hypersensitive, and I've always had that. So that was probably part of the reason why, starting in after the car accident, that my dystonia just became progressively worse. So much so that there were several times when my son really just didn't know what to do. I would be just absolutely could not move. Had to be helped to go to my bed or get up out of a chair, or just things requiring a lot more help than I had needed before. Where before, if I had a dystonia, it was just minor. Maybe it was in some twisting in my right leg, my toes, especially my toes, really bad, or my hand. And that has improved. I have one single episode on my birthday. I was making cupcakes, and I was trying to hold the cupcake like this in my left hand and spread the icing on it with my right, because I couldn't find my piping bag, and I don't know why. But my hand started trembling so bad, and I couldn't stop it, and the cupcake just fell out of my hand. And I tried again, and I kept having the same repeat of just holding a cupcake, that it would just fall out of my hand, and my hand was trembling so bad. But I had some issues with that, like right after surgery. I noticed that. But that has improved some. I do still have, like, right the tip of my thumb. It's just numb. But that's about it. But the dystonia, pretty much under control. And I'm kind of excited about going back to the neurologist to say, hey, guess what? I didn't take my medication, and I'm kind of okay. But then again, I'm going, maybe not. We'll just wait and see. Probably being off all this medication is going to kind of trigger that a lot worse, but we'll just wait and see. But anyhow, that's a quick update, and I actually talked longer than I wanted to, but that's my quick update for you with everything. So glad I get now the collar, because y'all, when you have hot flashes and you have a collar on and you are like burning up from here up, and you feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And you can't turn the air below 74 in this house without someone getting mad. That's really bad. But anyhow, talk to you later, and hopefully we are going to start swapping things around. Ooh, sorry about the shaking of everything. My tripod broke. The little thing came off, so I'm having to hold this. But we're going to be starting up a new channel just for K&R Styles, so that we can bring you some of the latest things that we're doing, and maybe walk you through some things. We've had a lot of success with our Etsy shop, just from the go. I have been just absolutely thrilled. I kind of expected it to take us about 2 years to grow. but we've been steadily rising, getting traffic, and even on our website too. So like it's just, it's great. And so I will be starting up that channel pretty soon, probably this week, maybe, considering now that I'm out of this. But I have to fix my tripod first, because right now with it not working, it'll be a little hard to make videos. But yeah, that's kind of our plan, that we plan to do that. Just kind of show you guys some, the behind the scenes, how we do things. And hopefully now that I can kind of bend my head down and look down, maybe I can get some card videos to you guys too. So anyways, you guys have a blessed evening, and I will talk to you later.